Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Same format. I'm going to keep repeating myself. No recordings, no live streaming. We have listen up, you guys. Let's get started, please. Thank you. So we have two candidates for Industrial Relations Director. There we go. They're all coming in now. Brother Van Zimmerman and Brother Scott Hoffman. The same rules apply. There will be not 3 hours. We'll be sleeping by then. You see, I'm ready for bed now. 3 minutes for opening, 3 minutes to respond, and 2 minutes for closing. So the way it was drawn, Brother Scott Hoffman's going to start with his opening, and then Brother Van Zimmerman will continue. Go ahead.
All right, good evening, sisters and brothers. My name is Scott Hoffman. I'm the current president of the Boston Metro Area Local, and I was the rank and file chairman. And as a result, I had a 50-yard line seat for the last contract negotiations, or the current contract negotiations. And what I saw was seriously flawed methodologies that produced a seriously flawed contract and document. And what I mean by that, it was grossly concessionary and gave back work rule protections and basically rewarded the Postal Service for bad behavior. Everybody knows that liability creates leverage. And I don't care how complex an issue is, negotiations come down to this. It's a hostage exchange. So the bottom line is, if I have your hostage, what are you going to give me for him? And in this particular case, we were giving away our hostages, and we weren't getting anything for them. We were giving away our liabilities, which gives away our leverage. For what? A 1-year pay raise that was very routine, what we normally achieve in arbitrations. The methodology that was flawed was the omission of craft officers who have the expertise to negotiate for their crafts. The rank and file committee is the rank and file advisory committee, picked for your presumed expertise as local officials. You're not beholden to the national, but you're there for your knowledge. And in this round of negotiations, the rank and file was kept in the dark, and so weren't the craft officers. And it resulted in a flawed product. As DIR, you are responsible, Chief.
1 minute.
Chief responsible for contract negotiations. Therefore, if you allow that process to be hijacked, the process outlined in the Constitution, you've abdicated your responsibility. I won't do that. I will follow the outlines in the contract. I will allow the experts in their fields to do their jobs. And therefore, you would end up with a product that probably could go to the membership to be voted on. But this one simply could not. And what I saw is the methods and the results. I decided to run because I can do better, and we can do better. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Brother Zimmerman, go ahead.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. I'm proud to be your Director of Industrial Relations. I'm proud to have started working for the APW at 22. And let me just give you a brief history of what I've done. I've been involved in the last 4 negotiations. Under 3 presidents, I've worked under the last 4 presidents in the administration. I've been a national business agent for 15 years prior to becoming your DIR. You ask why that's relevant? As DIR, I am the chief spokesman. I am responsible for the negotiations. I'm responsible for the grievance procedure in the whole country. I've worked side by side with these MBAs. I have the main support of these MBAs. I have the support of my MBAs in my area. I have the support of the MBA from the Boston area local where my opponent is from. Me and him work side by side. Qualifications. This isn't a job you said, I think I can do better. This is a job you have to look. What is the experience you have? My first negotiations was in 2006. My first involvement in national arbitration in 2006. I'm proud of leading national negotiations and being involved in national negotiations that have led solid 1,000 job gains, tens of millions of dollars. I've handled 30,000 grievances, not 3,000, but 30,000 grievances. I brought hundreds of people back to work. I've created 1,000 jobs through my years. Why do I tell you this? This is a job that requires experience. It's in charge of 14 fine safety people across the country that are OSHA skilled. What does it take to be a leader of those individuals that are OSHA skilled? You need to be OSHA trained. I've had OSHA training. So I'm proud of bringing the safety department back. I'm proud of the tools that's required to do your job on the workroom floor. We gave you those tools. We've implemented those tools. And the job is multifaceted. And if you go back and find this actual debate we had 3 years ago, I told you what I wanted to do as industrial relations director. I went back and reviewed it, and I was proud to say that we made progress in everything I talked about. But I'll also tell you the work isn't done. I'm going to do more. We're going to work as a team, and we're going to get it done. The APW, Together We 10, is forceful. I had said I've worked under 4 presidents, and I can tell you there's one president that has an open door policy, one president that is more inclusive than all the others, and that's the president I'm running in with for the Votes for America, the APW Together We Win team.
Thank you, brother. The first question, Brother Hoffman will answer first. What experience have you had in fighting consolidations and closures? And why were your efforts successful or not successful?
Well, we took in the work of other plants that closed. So my local did not have to experience plant closures. What you do need to do, however, is show the devastating effects of a particular community that's having a plant closure. You would have to get the information to show that the turnaround times can't meet service standards. You have to show the community that their standards would be degraded. You would have to show the effects with the public, have them get involved, get local, state, and federal officials involved. That has seemed to be the successful formula to keep plant closures from happening. Again, our particular plant took in the work of other plants that closed from other districts. So we did not feel the end of the dragon's tail in Boston, but we also were very supportive of the efforts of the APW and had gone to other areas to support them in their closing. We involved the legislators, and we picketed. We joined their picketing, things like that. That's how you have to stop the plant closures. You have to show the public that their service is being stolen from them, that things like medicines would be delayed, all sorts of things like that the public is actually concerned about. You can't whine about job loss to the APWU because the public doesn't care. You really have to hit them over the head how they would be negatively affected. And that's usually how you draw in the politicians. So to me, that's the formula that you would use to preempt plant closings.
Thank you, brother. Brother Zimmerman, what experience have you had in fighting consolidations and closures? And why were your efforts successful or not successful?
Well, first of all, I've been involved in numerous fights in the 4 states that I represented for over 15 years on plant closures. But in 2012, we got a devastating call in my local. They told us we were on the list and we were going to be closed. Those are members that I've been working with since I was 22. Those were members for 25 years that had counted on me to be there for them. And I followed that call to action. Our local got together, our members, the mail handlers, the letter carriers, everybody said it couldn't be done. Let me tell you what the #1 mayoral issues that was involved was the plant closure. The mayor said that we were on TV more than him during the negotiations. Obama come to town, and guess what was talked about with the mayor? It was us. We ran pickets. It could hold 500 people could be held at city council. That's the largest they'd ever had. We had 700 people cram that 500 and 300 outside, and it was a movement. It was life-changing, and our members believed that it could be done. And I was very proud of that. I'm proud of that today because Cincinnati's not only still there, we're growing, and we just got a new plant. So we fought back, we unified, and that's what we do as a union. We stand up, we unify together, and we're tough as nails. And I'm proud that I'm tough as nails, my local's tough as nails, and we're all tough as nails when we unify together. Yeah. I'm very proud of this union that I'm the DIR of.
Thank you, brother. The next question, Brother Zimmerman will answer first. The question is, PTF employees feel like they are being contractually left behind. How would you counteract this feeling?
Sister, I believe I can take a two-part question, please, and let me know if I'm going off a little bit. First of all, I believe the local LMOU that we negotiated without a union contract helped the PTFs because those were 30,000 offices, each had PTFs that gave them additional rights. Also, one of the core things that the DIR and the president and the core committee, along with all the craft officers, when we met, we understood the PTFs and how they felt. So one of the core demands we had in these negotiations were to get some additional rights for PTFs. We had 4 core demands, and there still are 4 core demands. A guaranteed off day for the PTF, a guarantee, minimum daily and weekly guarantee. We had the 50-mile radius where PSEs get converted and the PTFs don't get a chance to opt. That was the third thing. 2 of those 3, and I'll get to the 4th thing because I forget what the 4th one is in it for a second, was obtained in the negotiated agreement. We got the residual vacancy sped up. We got the PTS right to opt. We got them the right to have the guaranteed day off. And the 4th thing is the right to have a scheduled begin tour. They're part-time flexible, so we may not be able to get them a guaranteed schedule, but come on, we should be able to get them a begin time. They do it on holidays. They use the same period last year. They have the documentation. We know when the window opens. We know when the window shuts. We know when the box section is, and we knew where the distribution is. Those are still 4 key demands that I can tell you, not a promise, that we're working on this week before I showed up. We prepped. We have PTFs across the country talking to them. We have professionals working on it, and those will be some key demands we have in these negotiations. They were in our contract. They were in the retention agreement, and they will be this interest arbitration.
Thank you, brother. Brother Hoffman, PTF employees feel like they are being contractually left behind. How would you counteract this feeling?
Well, I think I already did when we put down the tentative agreement, which would have allowed postmasters fluctuating work hours above the 15 allowable now. That could have a devastating effect on PTFs. They would have no pay continuity. Our ability to run an MDAT and show regular work hours, which would lead to job creation, which in turn leads to PTF conversion, would have been disturbed. So already, I think I helped the PTFs by not allowing that language to see the light of day. Beyond that, enforce, well, I can say again, relief from the Postal Service's working over the 15 hours per week. That was a relief the Postal Service asked for, a relief that the current DIR and President was going to bestow upon the Postal Service, would clearly affect PTF hours. It would clearly affect the remedy and the liability and therefore the leverage created by monetary liabilities for the postmasters working 15 hours. If you give away in an exemption those hours, then you're giving away PTF hours. So the goal of PTFs is not to remain a PTF. The goal is to become not a career, but have a regular bid position by establishment of bids. So any proposals, and we saw two, that would infringe or inhibit the union's ability to create and maintain regular positions for which the PTFs to be converted into. Again, I think I've already helped PTFs.
1 minute.
So beyond that, you could probably try to get them, when you give them the guaranteed days off, though, it also, there's a flip side to that coin. Who are you going to make work if you're going to give guaranteed PTFs off? So even though I'd like to improve the quality of PTFs, I would not do so at the expense of the career bid holders who aren't on the overtime desired list, who would be forced to work to cover those days. So there are other creative things that I would certainly work on with the craft officers. If the craft officers were working on it, I would work and back them up. I wouldn't negotiate with the Postal Service behind their backs. However, I believe the sum total of that, we've already done our job to protect PTFs.
Thank you, brother. The next question, Brother Hoffman will answer first, and the question is, how would you improve the current arbitration scheduling process?
I would probably get out of the jazz system and go to the former system of scheduling arbitrations. Right now, it's too manipulatable by the Postal Service. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have the backlogs that we have. Could you repeat that question again, though, just so I can answer it properly?
Absolutely. It says, how would you improve the current arbitration scheduling process?
First of all, get more arbitrators so you can get more dates. More dates means a faster process. That's one way to start. Another way would be to have penalties. I'm 20-year arbitration advocate. The Postal Service has an exorbitant amount of canceled dates. There should be higher penalties when the Postal Service cancels. My experience is the Postal Service cancels far greater than the union. The union is interested in getting their cases heard. The union is interested in getting them heard quicker. But if we allow management to continually cancel dates due to witness unavailability when they know the dates far in advance, it just slows the process down. So one of the tactics that I would use would be higher penalties for management canceling dates.
Thank you, brother. Brother Zimmerman, how would you improve the current arbitration scheduling process?
Thank you, sister. When we became DIR, about 35 or 40% of the districts, of the 67 districts, did not have arbitration panels that actually had arbitrators that were giving dates. Those have been filled. I understand that in his opinion, it says management turns back any dates, and he would get more arbitrators. But if you actually look at the facts, right now, there are plenty of dates for both parties to take. There's just not advocates to do. And then when you look at the numbers, the union and the management are canceling about the exact same main dates because of witnesses unavailable. But I think what's real important is that when I took office, there was 18,400 cases pending arbitration. Working with the Secretary Treasurer, the President, the regional coordinators, and all the MBAs, of those 18,000 plus cases, only 2,600 of those are still pending. We still have 12,500 pending, but of those 18,400, 2,600, so 80% of those, from the good work of our union brothers and sisters working together as a team, have been resolved. So I'm very proud of that. Justice delayed is justice denied. I have some extra ideals working with other officers, which we work in coordination very well, on the executive board and the MBAs to be progressive in different ways, and I'm excited when I become your DR and re-elected to follow throughs on that and get it faster and faster.
Thank you, brother. Okay, so the next question, Brother Zimmerman will answer first, and the question is, how do you propose to make information on arbitration awards more accessible to the frontline steward?
We just came out with a website that has a contract database. The contract database, for the first time, has every national arbitration, every step for, every Q&As. So now with a click of a button, you can go to our website and find those. Before the website, I'll be kind, it just needed some work. But honestly, you would put in the search thing, and you would find you would go for looking for an arbitration, you'd learn about a picnic. So that was broken. We got together, the executive board working together as a team, came up and identified that and determined that that was a solution. I'm proud of the local officers and the national office working together that created that contract database to give those access. Creating the JChem, making it searchable, doing JChem training, those are things we've done. Making it simply so the JChem's tab, making it so that the contract's easier to find. The frontline supervisor, which is what makes this contract live. And I wholeheartedly agree that we need to look at every effort possible to get everything, to get the tools in your hands, because this contract has no meaning unless it's enforced. I'm proud to be of a union that's a strong fighting union on the workroom floor, and the local officers such as you that enforce this contract. And I realize that you're the lifeblood of the union. So APW search has been updated, a contract database has been created, and also the electronic grievance system is currently getting 9 new adaptations that will make it better for the frontline steward.
Thank you. Brother Hoffman, how do you propose to make information on arbitration awards more accessible to the frontline steward?
Oh, a functioning national website is a really good start. Haven't seen one yet, but that would be a very good start.
Brothers and sisters, please let him finish. Let's be respectful.
Okay, first you would catalog by issue those arbitrations. We used to do something called a director's pick, which would highlight particular issues that would be instrumental in stewards or local presidents to look up specific issues and maybe have at their disposal, those arbitrations that the craft directors thought were germane to an issue. That would be a start right there. Another would be to send them out to, say, the regional coordinators and the NBAs for dissemination. Part of it would be, in training for our local officers so that they could train their stewards. But the bottom line is you need to catalog things. You need to catalog them by issue and have them simply retrievable. And so far, in my 20 years of advocacy, you have to go really scrounge to find arbitrations that you can find that are germane to the issue that you have. So, to me, simple availability, not to have to search high and low, find a needle in a haystack to hopefully hit an arbitration that's on point with the issue you have currently at arbitration, that would be it. But again, I'm not being fresh. But in 20 years, I haven't been able to find that system.
Thank you, brother. The next question, Brother Hoffman will be the first to respond, and the question is, what previous negotiation experiences have prepared you to be the director?
Well, I'm president of one of the largest locals in the country. We have almost 500 maintenance members. We have about 1,500 clerks. We have a big barn for NVS, about 200 employees. So I have a cross-section of all 3 crafts. I've been responsible for negotiations in the clerk crafts locally. I've been responsible for the overall negotiations locally. So local negotiations, although they are not as complex as national, again, the premises are the same. what do you have that they want? And if you're willing to give up a hostage, what are you going to get in return for it? So you don't sell cheap. I'm very proud of the fact that in all those contract negotiations, we've never had a give back. Every single time. It hasn't remained neutral. There's been times when we haven't had earth-shattering gains, but at least we haven't taken any steps backwards. So the bottom line is, if you do your jobs during the course of the year and you create leverage, you may have leverage, an issue that becomes a sore spot for the other side, and you can use those in negotiations, which is the whole point of contract enforcement. If you rigorously enforce the contract, you now create leverage. You have hostages that they want. They want to get out of liability. That's how you have successful negotiations. If you give everything away this time, and you're not constantly mining for more leverage because you don't value the grievance procedure, or you don't value enforcement and liability, then you're not going to do good at any kind of negotiations.
1 minute.
Bottom line is, as I've gone around on these travels, what I see is local presidents that are telling me their members' confidence is eroding in the union because we can't get compliance in a reasonable amount of time. And when we do, it's at a wholesale fire sale price in a large arbitration review. So we incentivize the Postal Service for non-compliance, because if you give them the bargain basement price down the road, then why would they settle with you now at a local, district, or area level when they know they can get away with it and we're making it cost-effective to them to violate the contract? That's how you have good negotiations.
Thank you, brother. Brother Zimmerman, what previous negotiation experiences have prepared you to be the director?
First of all, like I said, I was an MBA for 15 years, so step threes, pre-arbs, those are a type of negotiations. LMOU, those are type of negotiations. But national negotiations are different. It's different when you're, as the LMOU training was given early today by Chuck, he explained how LMOU in that work. National negotiations is not the same as local negotiations. So to answer the specific question, I've been involved in the last 4 national negotiations. 2 negotiations was solely in the maintenance craft. The last 2 negotiations, in 2015, I was involved in the negotiation and interest arbitration, assisting the president of this union, the contract negotiation manager, for 5 months. I was the chief spokesman for this contract. So I have 4 contracts that are under my belt. Also, I negotiated not an LMOU for the LMOU, I negotiated an LMOU that covered 20,000 installations. So specifically to your question, I've been involved in 4 negotiations under 3 presidents, all of which have been handled exactly the same. The core committee nationally is involved, and ultimately the president takes control. I can tell you my experience from being an MBA starting in 2001, which was under 4 contracts, negotiations under 3 contracts starting in 2006. This negotiations was handled exactly like every other negotiation. The core committee was there. When we locked in, the rank and file was there. When we locked in, there was 4 subcommittees that the assistant craft director is in charge of, and they chose who was on those subcommittees. The craft directors chose who were on their subcommittees. So I believe being involved in 4 national negotiations does give me the experience to continue to be your DIR that understands the complexity of national negotiations, and I'm proud to be leading your interest arbitration. So I'm the only candidate that's previously been involved in an interest arbitration. Support in the 2001 as an MBA, and involved in the last interest arbitration and national negotiation in 2015, which I was proud to help the president and the core committee. And I'm proud to be your chief spokesman and be leading you into a tough, well-rounded, involved every craft, every core committee. The regional coordinators were involved. The NBAs are followed locals to fight for the contract that you deserve.
Thank you, brother. So the next question, Brother Zimmerman, I gotta get my check marks inside here. Brother Zimmerman will start, and the question is, what previous positions in the APW have you held?
I started my career 1 year with the APW, 1 year after I was legally able to drink. Not before the first time I had a drink, but that would be quite a few years later, but 1 year. I started as a steward, a clerk steward on Tour 3 in the Greater Cincinnati area local. 1 year later, I became assistant clerk craft director, over 1,600 clerks. I switched to maintenance. Within 2 weeks of in the maintenance craft, I was elected as the maintenance craft director. I was the maintenance craft director. I then became the vice president of the Greater Cincinnati area local, where I was over 4 crafts. We had support services. I negotiated as vice president a support service contract. So I guess going back to what other contracts have I negotiated, as early as when I was 32, I was doing national negotiations specifically for the contract. At age 35, I became a national business agent. I was the national business agent for 15 years. Stepping back a little bit, I was also a safety rep, an OSHA trainer, a staffing advocate, and now I'm your currently director of industrial relations, and proud of it.
Thank you, brother. Brother Hoffman, what previous positions have you held in the APW?
Well, I've been a steward. I've been a longtime executive board member on the Boston Metro. Wore about every hat there is for the local. Assistant treasurer, sergeant at arms, recording secretary. I was the clerk crafts director of the Boston Metro. I'm a multi-term president of Boston Metro. I've been on the state executive board, a district officer. I've been a multi-term legislative director for the state of Massachusetts. I've been an over 20-year arbitration advocate. I've had the former category of directors picks, had at least 5 of them, which meant they were leading arbitrations on the issues. I was the first one to win the tax work in arbitration, back for the level 7s. I've won just about every type of case there is. I'm ready to step up. I'm trying to think what else I've done. Oh, I've been on the National Clerk Craft Committees, and then finally I was on the Rank and File Committee, which once again is picked for your overall knowledge of the contract. So I'm ready to be the DIR. I know the grievance procedure. I know how to attack issues. I'm a tactician. I'm a strategist. But most of all, I'm coming. I'm a fighter. And that's what you need to do. You can't consistently rest on your laurels. You need to keep pushing. And right now, we need to take care of the people in the Postal Service. We need to protect the wages, benefits that they enjoy, and you can only do that through aggressive enforcement.
1 minute.
I don't need it. No.
Thank you, brother. The next question, Brother Hoffman, will start with, what do you consider to be your best or biggest union accomplishment?
Aside from the fact that this past offering never saw the light of day and my decision in the rank and file, I would have to say being president of one of the largest locals in the country that has the highest membership rate. And that's accomplished once again because the members recognize that we protect their rights under the contract. By doing so, they see the union in action, they see dividends for their dues, and we maintain our membership. And it also allows our local to be able to rely on those members who appreciate the work of the local in the form of their membership. And when we ask them to do things like go to Staples, because Staples headquarters was in Massachusetts, and we stormed the castle. We were probably the most instrumental local in the Staples fight. They came. When we ask our members to hold signs for politicians, they come. When we ask our members to go picket for other unions, they come. Because they know they don't just give their union dues and hope something happens. They see something happen. And that's in the form of contract enforcement. We take care of business on the floor. If they got money coming to them, they get it. And again, monetary liabilities are leverage. You whack them over the head, you take their money, and they want it to stop. That's how it works. So I'm proud of that.
Thank you, brother. Brother Zimmerman, what do you consider to be your best or biggest union accomplishment?
That is difficult. I could say that twice a week when the regional arbitrations get set out, that's a big accomplishment. That happens every week still. I'm not sure why the president over here is not getting them, or the director pick that's still in existence today. I'm not sure, but I don't think that's my biggest accomplishment. But it is very hard to decide to pick one thing out of a career. I'm very proud of when we fought back and saved 2,000 jobs in Cincinnati. I'm very proud when the Postal Service told us we're going to shut the hell up and weren't going to give us a right to stub up for political rights, and we fought back in the Hatch Act and won. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the work fund case we just did that put $39 million in additional rights for the PSEs every year going forward. I'm very proud of the LMOU and the local office that gives the PTFs and those people additional rights. I'm very proud at the national arbitrations I've done all the way back to 2006. So it's very difficult for me to say one thing to pick, but I can tell you what I am the most proud of. I'm known for one or two things. One, I have integrity, because that's all you have in this business. You stand for what you believe when you say it, you mean it, and you don't bullshit people. I can make that promise to you, and that's what I'm proud of. You can start way back when I was 22, and two things people said. You're a bulldog. No matter what job I took, I follow that name. I never told anybody. They always thought I was a bulldog. I'm not sure if because I look at it or I have that tenacity. I hope the hell it's because I fight like hell. You can ask anybody I've represented from when I was 22 until 2 days ago. I'm a fighter, strong, and anybody can say words. I say, look at my actions, and don't believe me. Talk to the people I've represented for 32 years. Ask
1 minute.
them, what can you say about him? He's a fighter, and he's honest. So what I can't say one thing, I could list dozens. I'm proud of that. I'm known for my honesty and how I fight for the members. Because I'm so proud to be able to say, I'm a union rep. Because that's a calling. That is something that you do in service to the members of working men and women. You should have a right to come to work and earn a good living. And I'm very proud of that. So that's my biggest accomplishment.
Thank you, brother. So for your closing statement, we started with Brother Hoffman. So for closing, we're going to start with Brother Zimmerman. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Again, I'm proud to be your Director of Industrialization. I'm proud to use what I've learned through this great union. I'm proud to stand with your brothers and sisters to fight the Postal Service. Because let me tell you one thing I can promise you about the vision going forward. The Postal Service isn't respecting us and won't respect us. And it counts on us to stand together, fight together, have the knowledge, have the vision, have outside the box to stand up. I'm proud to be on a team with 82% of the executive board. I'm proud to be with people that have been in the fight as national officers since 2001. I'm proud to be in fight that's been in longer. I'm proud to be with people that think that we can win, that we're together. I'm proud to be with local officers that are standing tough. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback. I'm not asking anybody to play Monday morning quarterback. I'm asking everybody to look at my accomplishments over 18 years, my accomplishments over the maintenance craft. Let me tell you, the person that's
1 minute.
the largest settlement in the maintenance craft is me. The person that's won the most cases in the maintenance craft is me. The people that's fought back against the TL5 is me. The one that's taken the national, regional cases on right after the national cases is me, or my advocates that I'm proud of. So I'm very proud of my record, and I stand on my record. The team I'm with, look at their record, their tremendous record, and I'm so proud of our record. Like I said, and honestly, I just lay it this. Actions speak louder than words, and bullshit is bullshit.
Thank you, brother. Brother Hoffman.
Well, I'm smelling some now, but here. I guess 2 minutes, you got to be an auctioneer, so here I go. What you will get as a DIR is someone that's going to close the gap created in Article 9. This administration's had 2 shots, this DIR's had 1 shot. Employees hired after 2011 top out at step J. Where are they going to be when they reach top step? I'll tell you where they're going to be. They're going to be about $5,000, $6,000 behind a level 4 mail handler. They're going to be behind $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 behind letter carriers. Now, we're in a grand alliance, but it seems like our allies know that they need to take care of business in their own crafts first before you run out and be in an alliance. You take care of business at home. And it's inexcusable to not try to close that gap for our newer workers after 2011. What we'll also do is we won't engage in concessionary bargaining. And as part of the safety and health, anybody here, place cleaner, more hygienic? Department of Labor statistics say we have more lost work time than we ever have. Percentages are going up, fatalities going up. What we need is full-time safety enforcement, not election time, pretty little pamphlets, and sending groups out. We have good people on these safety committees, but we're sending good people out not armed with any program with any teeth. Locals are left to fend for themselves and utilize whistleblower tactics and OSHA because APWU safety can't get it done. That will change. That will be a priority. And again, come up with pilot programs that can streamline the grievance procedure. That way, we may not...
Thank you, brother. So on behalf of myself and the committee, this is the end of the debate. I appreciate you guys all being here. I appreciate the candidates taking the time to answer the questions. So have a great night. Sam.